that's who I am. I'm loyal. Like, if you're honest with me, it doesn't matter. I will love you. I will stand up for you till the end. It's hard. And you know, everybody was like, oh, Brooke stands by her dad and this and that. And it's like, first of all, that's who I am. I'm loyal. Like, if you're honest with me, it doesn't matter. I will love you. I will stand up for you till the end.
Loyalty is supposed to run deep in families, but in the Hogan household, that loyalty seemed to stop short when it came to Brooke Hogan's relationship with her father, Hulk Hogan. Recently, leaked video showed Brooke parting with two of Hulk's most famous rivals, The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. For fans of wrestling, this wasn't just casual footage, it was shocking to see the daughter of one of wrestling's most iconic figures hanging out with the very men who clashed with him for decades. Felt like betrayal. The internet went wild with theories. Some claimed this was the real reason Brooke was cut out of Hulk Hogan's will. Others suggested it was the final nail in the coffin of an already broken family. Regardless, the story shined a spotlight on years of dysfunction.
I love that quote that says, like, don't judge somebody on the decisions that they made when you don't know the options they had to choose from, or that you don't know the mind space or the marriage or the job or whatever they were in. It's hard to say, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. I would never do that. It's like, you don't know if you are under a certain amount of stress or if there's certain temptations or things like
scandal and betrayal that went far deeper than the surface drama of leaked party clips. Let's unpack the family chaos, the professional manipulation, and the bitter rivalries that defined Hulk Hogan's later years. Brooke wasn't just another celebrity's daughter. Growing up, she was the wrestling kid. Her life played out in front of the world on the reality show Hogan Knows Best. The program portrayed her as the bright daughter of the man who practically defined American wrestling. On screen, it looked like a picture-perfect family. Behind the scenes, however, things were much darker. The empire that Hulk built wasn't as strong as it appeared.
Yeah, and if anybody should have disowned me, it should have been her. You know, she should have been the one. She should have been the one to throw me out like the trash, but instead she showed me more love than anybody.
Beneath the surface of fame and wealth, secrets piled up. What seemed like a dream family turned into one of the most shocking sagas in entertainment history. The trouble began in 2006 when a private tape of Hulk Hogan surfaced, though it didn't make headlines until 2012. That leak led to a lawsuit against the gossip site Gawker, which ended with Hulk receiving a massive $31 million settlement. While that might sound like a victory, it only set the stage for much worse to come. In 2015, transcripts from that same tape revealed something that nearly destroyed Hulk's career forever. On the recording, he was caught making racist comments. But this wasn't just a few careless words, it was a rant about Brooke's personal life, specifically about her dating a black man. He even admitted,
sometimes in life, things come back.
All the podcasts and all the books and everything, and everybody realizes that Hogan wasn't the guy that he was portrayed.
No, he's a Mount Rushmore guy.
Yeah, he's a Mount Rushmore guy. You've put him on your Mount Rushmore, even with the beef that y'all.
I am a racist to a point. The fallout was immediate. WWE cut all ties with him. His Hall of Fame status was erased as if he had never been there. For decades, Hulk Hogan had been marketed as the ultimate American hero, a symbol of pride and patriotism. Suddenly, that image shattered. For Brooke, the scandal was devastating. Instead of condemning her father right away,
"Oh, brother, you got me." I'm like, oh, I just crippled the golden goose. I just hurt her.
She tried to defend him, likely torn between love for her dad and the public outrage swirling around her. Imagine being in your early 20s, trying to build a music career, only to have your father's words ruin everything. The controversy reportedly destroyed her relationship with her black producer and ended any momentum she had in the music industry, and the emotional weight. Almost unbearable. Your own father insulting your private life, on tape. And then the entire world replaying those words over and over. Brooke tried to rationalize it, but the damage was permanent. What made matters worse was Hulk Hogan's behavior toward Brooke, even before the racist scandal. In 2013, he posted photos of her legs on social media, calling them 100% perfect. Paparazzi also captured him rubbing sunscreen on her backside while sunbathing. The images made people deeply uncomfortable, sparking accusations of inappropriate boundaries.
It took a few days before I actually got to see the footage. His head never touched.
This wasn't a one-off incident. The pattern suggested serious issues within the family dynamic. When added to the racism scandal, it painted Hulk as someone with troubling judgment, both privately and publicly. By 2023, Brooke's loyalty had run out. She cut off contact with Hulk, citing his toxic lifestyle and health problems. More disturbingly, she accused both parents of years of verbal, physical, and emotional abuse. These weren't small disagreements. These were claims of serious mistreatment that explained why she wanted nothing to do with them anymore. Hulk never met Brooke's children. She didn't attend his wedding to Sky Daly in 2023, and in one of the most symbolic acts of separation, she asked to be removed from his will. Before his death, she chose emotional peace over financial inheritance. That decision spoke volumes. When Hulk died on July 24, 2025, Brooke's public statement was calm but distant. She thanked him for the memories and acknowledged the complicated reality of knowing him beyond his superstar persona. Hulk's toxic patterns weren't limited to his family. They extended into the wrestling business, and no story captures this better than his decades-long feud with The Undertaker. Back in 1991, The Undertaker was a rising star at just 26 years old. His mysterious character and athletic ability were reshaping what wrestling could be. Hulk, meanwhile, was the established face of wrestling. Their clash at Survivor Series 1991 was supposed to be symbolic of passing of the torch. The Undertaker won, capturing his first championship, but Hulk wasn't about to let go of the spotlight. After the match, he claimed The Undertaker had injured his neck during the finishing move. Backstage, he dramatized the injury, making it seem like his younger opponent was reckless. The truth. Replays showed The Undertaker had executed the move perfectly. Hogan had faked the injury to protect his position. The manipulation worked. Just 6 days later, The Undertaker lost the title back to Hulk at another event. His first reign as champion lasted less than a week, all because of Hulk's backstage politics. That betrayal left scars. For years, The Undertaker carried resentment. By the time Hulk returned in 2002, the roles had reversed. The Undertaker was now a respected veteran with real influence. In their feud that year, he beat Hulk for the championship, a moment many saw as poetic justice. Even decades later, The Undertaker didn't hide his feelings. On a podcast in 2025, he acknowledged Hulk's impact but admitted he still struggled with the way Hogan manipulated situations for his own benefit. His words were careful but filled with lingering bitterness. If The Undertaker dealt with Hulk through measured resentment, Brock Lesnar took a completely different approach. Where others played politics, Brock tore everything down without hesitation. Lesnar debuted in 2002 as a monster athlete, fast, powerful, and legitimately dangerous. He wasn't interested in respecting wrestling's old guard. In his first major encounter with Hulk, Lesnar crushed him in a match, leaving him blooded. This wasn't a symbolic passing of the torch, it was a brutal message. The era of Hulk Hogan was over. Years later, in 2014, Lesnar humiliated Hogan again, this time with just 3 words. On Hogan's 61st birthday celebration during Monday Night Raw, Brock interrupted the party live on TV. His insult, "Party's over, Grandpa." The comment was unscripted, and Hogan was reportedly furious backstage, but the damage was done. Millions of fans laughed while Hulk's ego took another beating. Lesnar didn't just stop with Hogan. His relationship with The Undertaker created legendary moments both inside and outside the ring. In 2010, during Lesnar's UFC career, The Undertaker confronted him after a fight, asking, "You want to do it?" The tension was real enough to spark headlines across both sports and entertainment. Their eventual clash at WrestleMania 30 in 2014 cemented Lesnar's legacy. He defeated The Undertaker, ending his 21-match undefeated streak. The crowd sat in stunned silence, realizing they had just witnessed one of the most shocking moments in wrestling history. Unlike Hogan, The Undertaker earned Brock's respect. The two became close friends, with Lesnar praising Undertaker's loyalty, work ethic, and integrity. In contrast, Lesnar openly mocked Hogan's tendency to exaggerate his accomplishments and twist stories. For example, Hulk often claimed he wrestled Lesnar a dozen times or mentored him, both proven false. When Hulk Hogan died in 2025, tributes poured in. Even Brock Lesnar appeared on WWE programming to acknowledge his passing. But the message felt professional, not personal. The respect wasn't for Hulk the man, but for Hulk the symbol of a bygone era. In the end, Hulk Hogan left behind a complicated legacy. To some, he will always be the face of wrestling's golden age. To others, he's remembered for scandal, manipulation, and broken relationships. Brooks' decision to cut ties and The Undertaker's lingering resentment show the deep wounds he left behind. Brock Lesnar's infamous "party's over" Grandpa summed it up best. Hulk's time had passed. The wrestling world had moved on, led by athletes who relied on skill, not politics. And that's the real lesson here. Legacies aren't built on manipulation or image. They're built on respect, authenticity, and consistency. The Hogan story reminds us how fragile reputation can be and how even the mightiest heroes can fall when the truth comes out. When Hulk Hogan made his return to WWE in the early 2000s, he was trying to relive some of his glory days, chasing that old magic of Hulkamania. Fans who grew up watching him were excited, but the wrestling world was changing. A new generation was rising, and Brock Lesnar was the face of that change. Lesnar was young, powerful, and hungry to prove that he wasn't just the future, he was the present. The rivalry between Hogan and Lesnar played out on several episodes of SmackDown, where Lesnar targeted the veteran as a way to establish dominance over the older stars. Their clash built anticipation, but when the actual match happened on August 8, 2002, it wasn't about two legends trading blows in a competitive fight. It was about Lesnar making a brutal statement. He didn't just beat Hogan, he crushed him. The match ended with Lesnar applying a tight bear hug that forced Hogan to submit. But it didn't stop there. Afterward, Lesnar grabbed a steel chair and launched a savage attack that left Hogan bloodied and broken. This wasn't just the symbolic passing of the torch that fans had seen before in wrestling. No, this was Lesnar ripping the torch out of Hogan's hands, smashing it over his head, and burning down the very idea of respecting the old guard. The message was unmistakable. The Hogan era was finished. A new chapter had begun, and it belonged to Brock Lesnar. Fast forward 12 years later, to August 11, 2014, Hogan was on Monday Night Raw, celebrating his 61st birthday in front of a live audience. He was surrounded by other legends, basking in the glow of his long career, probably feeling secure about his legacy. Then Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman interrupted. What followed was one of the coldest, most disrespectful moments in WWE history. Lesnar walked up, looked Hogan in the eye, and delivered three words that shattered the celebration. That single line, spoken on live television in front of millions, cut deeper than any punch. Reports later claimed the moment wasn't scripted. Hogan was said to be genuinely furious, so much so that John Cena had to step in backstage to calm things down and prevent a possible confrontation. But that's what made the moment legendary. It wasn't just the insult, it was what it represented. Brock Lesnar never cared about birthdays, legacies, or sentimental celebrations. He was there to destroy anyone in his way, no matter who they were. The way he delivered that line perfectly captured his persona: cold, calculated, and merciless. What made it even more powerful was the context. By 2014, Lesnar wasn't some up-and-comer trying to make a name. He had already conquered WWE, left to fight in the UFC, where he became heavyweight champion and returned as an even more intimidating version of himself. So, when he mocked Hogan, calling him Grandpa, it wasn't just disrespect, it was a blunt reminder of the generational gap between them. Hogan represented the past, Lesnar embodied the present and the future. Hogan didn't take it well. In interviews afterward, he threatened Lesnar, saying he wouldn't tolerate that kind of talk in front of his family, but the fact that Hogan felt compelled to publicly respond to a single insult only proved how effective Lesnar's psychological warfare really was. And Hogan wasn't the only legend Lesnar crossed paths with. His relationship with The Undertaker created some of the most unforgettable moments in wrestling. Their feud started back in 2002, where they clashed in matches that proved Lesnar could stand toe-to-toe with one of WWE's most feared icons. At Unforgiven 2002, their title match ended in a double disqualification, leading to a brutal Hell in a Cell battle at No Mercy. That night, Lesnar defeated The Undertaker to retain the WWE Championship, cementing his reputation as a dominant force. But the real intrigue came years later, outside the wrestling ring. In 2010, during Lesnar's UFC career, he lost the heavyweight title to Cain Velasquez at UFC 121. Sitting in the audience was The Undertaker. As Lesnar walked past, Undertaker stopped him and asked, "You want to do it?" A direct challenge caught on camera. This wasn't a scripted WWE storyline. This was real-life tension unfolding in front of a live MMA audience. The Undertaker later clarified it was partly playful, partly serious. He and Lesnar were friends, but that public confrontation blurred the lines between wrestling drama and genuine rivalry. It showed that even outside the scripted world, their chemistry and tension felt real. Then came WrestleMania 30 in 2014. On that night, history was made. Lesnar defeated The Undertaker, ending his legendary 21-match undefeated streak at WrestleMania. The crowd's reaction was unforgettable. Tens of thousands of fans sat in complete silence, unable to believe what they had witnessed. It wasn't just a wrestling result, it was a cultural shockwave. Brock Lesnar became the man who did the impossible, the man who ended the streak. And yet, despite that shocking victory, Lesnar and Undertaker maintained mutual respect. Undertaker often speaks highly of Lesnar, calling him one of the most genuine people in the business. Lesnar, in turn, values Undertaker's integrity and consistency. The same could not be said about Hulk Hogan. Lesnar has openly criticized Hogan for playing politics backstage, refusing to lose matches cleanly, and putting his own interests above the growth of younger wrestlers. Unlike Undertaker, who earned respect by lifting others up, Hogan often tried to protect his own spotlight. Hogan even exaggerated his history with Lesnar, claiming they had wrestled over 10 times and that he helped mentor him. Records show they only had official matches. Hogan even falsely stated he was Lesnar's first opponent at his UFC return, when in reality it was John Cena in 2012. These embellishments only fueled Lesnar's disdain. Years later, when Hogan passed away in July 2025, Lesnar returned to SmackDown to deliver a tribute. It was respectful, but not emotional, more of a professional acknowledgement than a heartfelt farewell. Even in that moment, the contrast between Lesnar's feelings toward Hogan and Undertaker was clear. That's the beauty of Brock Lesnar's legacy. He represents a shift in professional wrestling from the old era of political maneuvering, ego, and self-preservation to an era of legitimate competition, authenticity, and ruthless dominance. The party's over, Grandpa moment wasn't just a savage insult. It was symbolic. It announced the death of the old guard and the rise of a new era where success was earned in the ring, not manipulated behind the curtain. Lesnar respects those who deserve it, like The Undertaker, and exposes those who don't, like Hogan. And that's how Brock Lesnar carved a place in wrestling history, not by playing games, but by being authentic, fearless, and delivering moments so powerful that they became folklore.